Oh yeah, I heard Gavin Newsom isn't even commenting on it. A couple sources told me that, so we don't know where he stands on that issue either.
But the companies did fund about like 180 million for saying yes, and that's compared to no receiving only 5 million from the people, the unions. So I hope that information describes the situation.
Unions are vehemently against this. So, looking through the history of these companies, the way that they have gotten away with not paying for their employees' benefits, right? This includes things such as unemployment, overtime. How they got away with this is they're not marketing as a taxi service, which a lot of people see Uber and Lyft as a taxi service. But the way that they market is as a platform, such as Facebook and Twitter, where you're simply connecting the user to one of the drivers that is trusted by Uber and Lyft. Sort of like in Amazon, like there's a rating system. You're not going to go out and buy headphones that have a 3-star rating. You're going to want to go for something that you can trust, somebody that is backed by the company.
Right? I mean, you can always spoof the ratings on Amazon. That's a different conversation.
That's
yeah.
Let's not get into that.
I trust Uber, but you can always you can also think on the other side, where if the driver was an employee, there were cases of sexual,
Yeah. Another big thing on the company's side, the employees, if they're independent contractors, the company's not going to be liable for a lot of this stuff. And we'll have to look a little bit into this, see if maybe other things also apply, such as car accidents. From what I believe, there is a set rate.
There is compensation for car accidents, but there isn't compensation for mileage if they stay as gig workers. And I'm going to talk on the side of no on Prop 22 for the employee.
Okay.
If they're employees, there would be compensation for how many miles they put on the vehicle, same as pizza delivery people. But this is thinking of Uber and all these app-based drivers as taxi services. Back to what you were talking about before. They would also be paid for waiting. So these drivers wait a lot, and they make $0 when they're waiting and sitting in a parking lot or something.
I would say I am for Prop 22, mainly because there's a lot more control put into the user. And I personally know Uber drivers, and this is anecdotal evidence, right? That will...
But what do these drivers use the app for? Because there are two different types of drivers. There's the drivers which drive full time, and the drivers that have another job and just want extra money on the side, or are students and just want extra money.
These are people who just want extra money on the side.
Okay, yeah,
and I would understand why.
And that's the divide on yes and no. Some people want employee status, and some people want extra money on the side, which is a gig.
And if this is, I'm assuming the majority of the people that want employee status are doing this because this is their only job, right? Like that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah,
I've personally worked gig jobs, and for example, a restaurant, right? The pay
as you go.
How I would see it is, imagine working at a restaurant, right, and always making $15 or $20 or $25 an hour, instead of having those nights where you walk away from the bar with $500 or $1,200.
These apps do have a set wage, so they say during a night you're probably going to make X amount of money, but it's not enough. It's like tips. It's like working for tips.
Yes, and another thing for my side of the argument, a lot of Uber drivers really enjoy the freedom that they have. By the way, we're saying Uber loosely here, right?
These are the
DoorDash,
apps in general.
Uber, Lyft. any delivery apps. I guess GoPuff can get added to this to an extent. GoPuff, if you don't know him, check him out. Really nice.
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay, yeah, okay.
It's essentially a gas station.
Yeah,
it is literally a gas station.
Get some bleach,
but with it's like a Domino's pizza for gas stations. So I don't know, but anyways, we're getting sidetracked. When we're saying Uber, we're talking about this loosely.
Yeah, they're just the most recognizable company out of all of it. Because you go to any country, you're probably going to get an Uber from an airport.
Yeah, France, Uber within 1.5 minutes in Paris, right? But
in
a lot of people always praise working for Uber and companies like this because of the flexibility, the hours. It's sort of, they can pick up shifts very easily, right? But if you are an employee, think about it. Your superior, whoever's in charge of timing.
So these companies are built around the gig job because it gives the employee their own wages off of each order and not a set hourly wage, which no one Prop 22 gives because it's with benefits and hourly wage. So the companies are going to have to pay more if all these gig workers become employees. They're going to have to pay for benefits. They're going to have to pay more for their hourly wages. They're going to have to pay for retirement, unemployment.
Counterpoint. I think they're going to be paid less because a lot of this money is going to be going into their medical. The question is how good of a plan they offer these gig workers. Anyways, just make sure you do your research, listen to both sides. Obviously, a lot of these news sites are going to be maybe pushing one way or the other.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of people that own stock in these companies are also going to own stock in news sites.
Yeah.
Right?
Or own the news site.
Goals. Anyways, as of October 26, polls are showing 46% favor. Prop 22. So that's in favor of including it. We're going to get into what certification that has to pass in a second. But 46 in favor, 42% opposed, and 12% undecided. My guess is way more than 12% are undecided because everybody else just doesn't know what this thing is.
It's so
a pollster calls you
when you open up, search Google search Prop 22, and you read the actual proposition. You're right away, just like me. You're probably confused as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most people don't read these long legal papers often.
And all of the overviews are biased. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
no matter where you are.
This is once again one of those situations. This happens in many things that people are going to be voting on it who aren't going to feel a direct impact.
If this impacts if anything impacts low income workers, it's always a big decision. So there are going to be split sides.
And of course, if this is going to increase company spending, there will be layoffs. For the longest time, this was unchecked because they were advertising themselves as a platform connecting the riders to the drivers. And what this Prop 22 does is it's going to protect these companies from paying unemployment and overtime. There was a court ruling in Dynamex 2018. It set 3 conditions to classify an employee as a contractor. First one, free from the control and direction of the hirer. Second one, performed work outside the hirer's normal course of business. And 3, had their own independently established trade, occupation, or business. And this ruling was a step in the direction granting workers benefits, but it was not enough. So this was in the way of no. to Prop 22. The next development was Assembly Bill 5, which went into effect on January 1st, 2020. Right, and
I've heard more of that than dynamics.
And ever since the pandemic started, my heart goes out to everybody whose family has been affected by COVID. And in this scenario, it's put a big pause on this country and many other countries until we find that. Yeah, the entire world until we find a vaccine. We have treatments.
And it is getting better. It's way better than the beginning, but
we have way more information. Our doctors are way more experienced in it. Although we are currently in the third spike. Yeah.
For me, it's technically, my personal opinion is still the first in the States, at least.
Yeah, we never stopped. It's rough, but anyways, as far as Uber goes, this pandemic brought thousands of Uber and Lyft drivers to attempting to receive unemployment benefits, further highlighting Prop 22 issue. So on October 22nd, Uber and Lyft lost an appeal that they were incorrectly classifying workers as contractors, right? Which relates back to the Dynamics ruling that we had previously. So they lost an appeal. So they're currently in court in the middle of the process, and they have 30 days to start correctly classifying workers as employees, unless Prop 22 passes. Right?
Okay, that's when they're doing that.
This is a really big deal for Uber and Lyft. November 3rd. So hopefully y'all do some more research on this and go out and vote.
Vote.
Yes, vote. I think everybody should vote, and it's
voice your
really
opinion.
Makes me happy to see so many young people voting this year. Right, whatever way they may lean, it's a great thing for younger voter turnout, and I think we can progress a lot more as a country in that way.
Yep.
Right. And I hope that they look at both sides.
I hope the memers really do.
The memers are insane right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Thank you so much for watching. My name's Danila.
And my name's Nikita.
And this has been a Slav Talk.